Call the meeting to order. Welcome to the weekly meeting of the Rotary Club of Jonesboro. Ring the bell. And inspirational moment. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Harriet Tubman. I'm going to turn this over to our youth service chair, Lori Chandler. She's going to give us a program on Youth Exchange. So, Lori?
With me here is Rachel. If you can see her, Rachel Jones. She is our Youth Exchange chair for our club, and she's going to help me present the program today. And then we also asked Susan Chan, which is the Youth Exchange chair for our district, to join us to be able to answer any questions that the members have or the students that are on. I've seen a couple of other students that were able to join there. Gary, I don't know if you've seen Terry was able to join. So she'll be happy to answer any questions that maybe we won't be able to answer. Just to get started, so Rotary Youth Exchange, I just kind of made a little title here, is Opening Eyes to a New World. And my next slide here is a video.
The Rotary Youth Exchange program was created in 1962 and hasn't stopped changing the lives of students since. Exchange students have the benefit of developing their leadership skills while also learning a new language and culture. Rotary offers two programs, including the long-term and short-term program. While on your adventure, you will build lifelong relationships with people around the world and truly become a global citizen.
So I'm Kenna Burke, I'm 18 years old. I went to Italy long-term in the year 2017-2018.
Hallo, ich heiße Felix and I'm from Germany. Currently I'm here in the US on my exchange here with Rotary.
Hi, my name is Brandon Collins. I was a long-term exchange student to Germany in the year 2016 to 2017.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Sophie. I come from Belgium. I'm doing a long-term exchange in the United States.
Hi, my name's Jenna. I went on my long-term exchange to Brazil year 2018-2019.
Hola, mi nombre es Carolina Bonet Cuya. I'm from Valencia, Spain, and I decided to become a Rotary Youth Exchange student because I really want to live the American experience.
I wanted to discover a new country, to have a new family. I would like to discover a new culture, new people, new friends.
I honestly will never look at the world the same way. It kind of blows my mind because I've been able to build connections with people on the other side of the planet.
I remember going over there for the first time and wondering if I'm going to be doing this all by myself and, how am I going to make new people if I can't even speak the language as well as them. But as soon as I got over there, I realized when I met my host families and I met my Rotary Club over there that I wasn't going to be doing this by myself.
So there are many exchange programs out there, but Rotary really stands out. They really pave the way to make a successful exchange for you. One thing that I love about the Rotary program is that they give us these blazers and that they buy us pins. And so whenever we go into our countries, we trade our pins with all the exchange students that we meet, and they give us a pin in return. And so every single one of these pins is from an exchange student that I met and made friends with, and I just really think that's a special part of Rotary that other programs don't have.
In my home country school, you stay with the same people during the whole year, and here you are with different people in every single class. I love being with different people in every class because it's like a way to meet different people.
I learned German for 4 years, and for 4 years I really wanted to go with the Rotary program to Germany, and at the last minute I just thought, why not just try something new? Why not go to a different country that I don't really know much about?
So I actually didn't get into the program on my first try. At first it was a shock and I wasn't sure what to do, so I didn't give up. I waited a year. I grew from not getting in the first time, and I tried to better myself and make myself a better candidate. Rotary really cares about making sure that this program is right for the students. I know now, after going on exchange, that I would not have had as successful of a time if I had gone just 2 years earlier when I was less mature and just all around not as ready.
Going to a new country can be really scary. especially if you don't speak the language. Rotary told me to prepare and, learn as much of the language as I could before I went, but I didn't listen. It helped me learn the language faster because I really needed to learn how to communicate with people.
Learning a language in a classroom setting and actually going out there in the country are two completely different things. After about a few months, I finally started to pick up and understand the language that people are talking about, and you really feel like you're becoming a part of this community.
Ultimately, after being able to live in Italy for a year, the experience has just been way more beneficial than I ever could imagine. When I came back from exchange to apply to colleges, I applied to a scholarship and they were delighted to give the scholarship to me because they saw that I was getting out into the world.
I had a lot of cool experience in this exchange year because I'm staying with a Mexican family, and we had a lot of cool times doing, for example, Mexican dishes. All of these cultural things are a very important thing to me and a very big part on this exchange. So I'm not just having the American experiences, I also have the Mexican experiences.
I'm kind of shy, so I think Rotary is helping me to become more outgoing and more confident.
I wanted to come in USA because I want to discover more myself, to become better and stronger. It has helped me to learn to be away from my family.
I learned a lot about different cultures, and it's like you're looking through a kaleidoscope. You're seeing every kind of shape, colors, and all these life-changing experiences I made just changed me a lot, changed the people around me a lot, and this is one of the best things on an exchange.
So I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to graduate with my class, and that was really important to me because I had built those friendships. So after talking to counselors, my parents, together we figured out that ultimately I could graduate on time. There was just certain steps and hard work that I had to put in order to be able to then graduate with my class. A lot of people think, oh, well, it's a year wasted. This could totally lead to something in the future, whether it's a future job or a future opportunity. Employers love when you're versatile and able to speak another language and understand the world from a global perspective.
If I can go on an exchange and learn a whole new culture, a whole new language, make new friends in a new language, I really think I can do anything. Everyone has a different experience. They go to a different country, learn a different language, but all in all, it changes you as a person no matter where you go.
My name's Tassilo Freiberg, and I did the short-term exchange to the Canary Islands.
Hi, I'm Emily Patino, and I went on short-term exchange to Italy, and I had an amazing time.
I'm Gabrielle Schoonover. I did a short-term exchange to the Netherlands the summer of 2018.
Hi, my name is Robin Schoonover. I am a proud parent of Gabrielle, who went on short-term exchange last year to the Netherlands in 2018.
I wanted to do Rotary Youth Exchange because it allows me to discover myself in the scope of a different culture.
I had the best time I could ever imagine. I never thought it would be this great.
One of my favorite parts of my exchange was having someone that I could always rely on. I was in a completely new environment, and she was always there for me. We crossed those cultural boundaries that we had, and we were always there for each other. And we still are.
What was special about the short-term youth exchange for me was that I was able to be in a personal relationship with one student, and I really enjoyed that because we are now close friends, and having a friend to teach you about the culture makes it a lot more bearable, and you have a great time.
All within one summer, I got to go and see her home and her town and her country, and then that same summer she got to come and see mine. So it made us get really close, and even to this day we still talk. She's become someone really important in my life because of this exchange.
I had just as much fun showing her our culture as I did learning about her culture.
It was the best experience that we could have ever hoped for, and we now have a new member to our family.
It was really nice being with family and looking at their country with completely new eyes, and being able to spend time with them and traveling and experiencing all the things that they love about their country. I just felt really welcome wherever we were.
Short term is a great program because you get ready for what's coming at you next in life, which is college or being out of your parents' house. You get to experience the world on your own.
Even though it was a really short period of time, I learned how to be independent and not rely on my parents so much because that's how they are over there.
Short term is better for some people because it's shorter than the long term, which makes it less of a commitment, and it allows you to still feel the culture and be immersed in the culture. Short term is also a great way to decide if you are up for doing the long term exchange or whether that's too much of a commitment.
I'm a really family-oriented person, so I know that if I had to leave my family for a long period of time, I don't know how I could do it.
For example, for me and my family, it was a better financial option because we could save up the money in a shorter amount of time. It was easier financially for my family, and I still got an amazing experience.
I think that this is an opportunity that every child should do.
On my exchange, I learned how to rely on myself, how to foster good connections with people, how to communicate, and probably most importantly, that we live across oceans, we speak different languages, but in the end, we're all human. We all need to learn how to really connect with people and realize that we're all the same.
Whether you go to, a country in South America or a country in Europe or a country in Asia, I think everyone has the most amazing experience of their life.
Exchange will launch you into a life of possibilities that you never thought would have been open to you.
Rotary Youth Exchange's program, it can change your life.
Rotary Youth Exchange really set me on the right path for my future.
The Rotary Youth Exchange program is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I promise you'll never regret it.
Rotary Youth Exchange is making peace one person at a time.
Rotary Youth Exchange does have 3 main objectives. The first one is instilling international understanding and goodwill in the students, creating positive change by empowering the youth, and making lasting connections not only for the host club, but the host family and the communities and the students' involvement. So you may be asking yourself, who might be eligible to participate in Rotary Youth Exchange? It is open to students ages 15 to 19. They must have above average academic performance and have the ability to express themselves clearly and effectively and demonstrate leadership skills.
Okay, I'm going to talk to y'all about the application and interview process. Just to reiterate what Lori just talked about, I think y'all would all agree that all of those students on the program that we just watched exhibited all of those qualities. Something that comes to mind is they were all extremely confident and sure of themselves. Not to say that they weren't before, but I feel like that experience probably helped them tweak that some. So the students must complete an online application. Once that is completed, then they're going to also be involved in some in-person interviews. Lori and I had the opportunity a couple of years ago. I think my time's right. I've lost track of time with the pandemic. But a couple of years ago, Autumn Holland, which was our short-term youth exchange student, we were very fortunate to get to participate in those in-person interviews. And so we also interviewed not only Autumn, but we interviewed her parents, and we did home site interviews. I'm just going to talk just a little bit, just very briefly about that. That was a really neat experience because we have to make sure that the students that are going to come back over to this site, over to the US, will be in a comfortable environment, and it has to meet criteria as well. So we interviewed Autumn by herself. And just I had brought some sample interview questions that we actually asked her. So we just asked her just a variety. It's very, very casual, just a conversational. And of course, Autumn's great. I know a lot of y'all remember that she presented a program to us after she had come back from Italy. And she's just, it's just like talking to her over coffee. I mean, she's just very relaxed. She's very confident, very laid back. But I asked her things like, what activities do you participate outside of school? What is your favorite subject in school and why? she had chosen Italy. She had chosen to go visit Italy, and I asked her, why did she choose Italy? Because Lori will touch on in a little bit the list of countries available to participate with. Describe your greatest accomplishment. So different things like that, just your typical kind of interview questions, but pertinent to this process. And then we also ask the mother and father different questions. As a parent, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want my child to go out of state, much less out of country. Granted, he's 13, so he won't hopefully be doing that anytime soon. But I think as parents, we all kind of have this uneasiness. But I was really impressed, and Lori can probably back me up on that, at how, I guess comfortable is the word, but confident that Autumn has a good head on her shoulders and will get the very best out of her experience that she could. And obviously, that was instilled to her by her parents. So I was very, very impressed with the whole process. Totally comfortable. Like I said, we did look at the home site, just make sure that when the student comes over, where will she be sleeping? Where's the access to the bathrooms? What are kind of your home rules, that sort of thing. So that was that process. Like it says, discuss the program rules. And then we also touch on and remind, which we didn't have to really with Autumn, you're representing your town, you're representing your country, you're representing our Rotary Club, your representation. So it's very important on holding those high standards. So you may ask, what's the difference between the long-term and the short-term? I don't know if you kind of gathered that from the students. A long-term exchange is typically, it lasts one academic year. And then they'll go over and stay with, just like I think that student mentioned, they come over and they stay the whole time with the same person. And they're going to stay in that host country, and then they're going to attend school with their host student. Short-term exchanges, on the other hand, like Autumn participated in, they can last anywhere from a few days to several months. So Autumn had gone over, I believe, in August, and she actually went when school had started because of, over in Italy, Benny, her exchange student, host family, I think they may have been out of school. It was opposite kind of what we were doing over here. So she had gotten clearance from her superintendent, her principal, her counselor, and she was able to go over once she even started school over here and participate in their program over there. And like I said, they typically stay with the host family. Something that I learned also in the process, and Susan can probably speak to it as well. It was really neat how Autumn was matched with her host family. It was very similar to her family here, as far as amount of siblings and just kind of maybe interest in certain things. It was really neat how they were matched. It was almost like she was going over and being matched with her Italian family. So I was really impressed with that, because I feel like, that can be, I'm sure, a little uncomfortable at times, but I think Autumn just slipped right in and felt comfortable, and vice versa, once Benny came over here.
So as far as the short-term exchange goes, here's a list of some of the countries that the student can request to visit, such as Australia, Italy, as Rachel has mentioned, Finland, France, and even Russia. And then the long-term countries, again, Italy is on that list, Japan, Spain, Colombia, France, Germany, Bolivia. So lots of options for these students.
So now I'm going to touch on the grants and scholarships. So as I was watching this video, I, for one, have never participated in something like this. So there was a little bit of envy with me. I'm like, wow, these students, just imagine going over and having that experience, even if it's for a month. It's just amazing to me. And just to think, gosh, I feel like they're already light years ahead of me as an adult. But, it truly, I think, as Rotarians, and I don't think we tend to pat ourselves on the back per se, because we are a service organization, but I feel like, be proud that we are part of this process, that you can say, hey, I help fund these programs. I think one of the students said Rotary Youth Exchange is like the best exchange program available, in a sense. So be proud of that. And it totally takes a village. As you can see here on this slide, It's made possible by the districts, local Rotary clubs. It's a scholarship, through volunteer efforts and future Rotarians, local Rotarians like ourselves, host families, and the schools. The counselors get on board and really help with the students. And if they show any interest, they're there to help facilitate that. So it's really, it takes a village. And I think that's something to be proud of. As you can see, they're valued at $20,000 for long-term and $2,000 for short-term exchanges. And then there's a district fee that's charged to and paid by the applicant. Currently, that's at $42.50 for long-term and then $350 for short-term youth exchanges. There also can be assisted and made available through the district supplemental scholarship fund. And towards the end, if y'all have more questions about that, Susan is very well versed in those specifics for sure. Like we said, I know it's kind of repetitive, but I think that one young lady had mentioned, it was very financially feasible for her family. I don't think you had anyone, on there that really seemed like it was a struggle per se, but she did say a couple of times where it was financially the best decision for them. So it's very affordable, especially when the scholarship comes in. So once again, the long term is about $4,000 and short term is about $2,000.
So you might be asking yourself what would be included with the Rotary Youth Exchange Scholarship. So we have a few bullet points here listed. You would obviously have your room and board, school tuition, that would be for your long-term exchanges. As Rachel had said previously, when you are over there, you're there full academic year, so you are attending a school over there. You would also have a monthly stipend. Again, that's for long-term. And your airport transfers, and then a 24-hour support worldwide emergency assistance program that Rotary does host. As far as the schedule goes, there's different timelines for whether or not you want to participate in short-term or long-term. With short-term exchanges, the applications are due by January 31st. And you would also have that club interview, which Rachel had talked about. And then you would have a district interview. And I think that district interview is where they really examine you to determine what host family, you may get placed with and to find the best fit for you. And again, that would take place sometime between January and March. And then you would have an orientation in March. And then typically the exchange does occur for short term over the summer, which is June through August, with the exception of some, like in Autumn's case where she went a little later. As far as the long-term exchanges, that application is due to the local club by December 1st. Again, there's a club interview process and a district interview process. And then there's an orientation camp that is held in the summer. And then the departure would be somewhere between August and September, and then returning in June or July. So we have another video for you here. I'm actually going to fast forward this because this is from our 2020 district conference that was held virtually. But we have our Jonesboro native, Autumn Holland, on there discussing her experience. And I thought it would be nice to share that with you all since she is actually from Jonesboro. And she just kind of talks about, like I said, her experience.
The next student that we have is Autumn Holland. She is, I believe, a senior in high school in Jonesboro. What?
Just graduated, so yes.
Just graduated. Time gets away from me. Autumn just graduated high school in Jonesboro. And not only do I make matches for students to go on exchange, I make matches for students to have dates to proms. And I think Autumn and Ethan went to prom together because I matched them up some way. I kind of embarrass folks, and I'll stop embarrassing, but Autumn.
Oh man.
Oh, look at that. They put everybody on the screen.
Wow.
Sam does that, and he didn't even
Thank
know
you.
I was going to say that.
Who's ever
Oh.
moderating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Autumn went to Italy, and she went on a short-term exchange. And so that's different than the year-long exchange. But with the short-term exchange, the students get to spend 4 to 6 weeks in another country. And then the student that you stayed with came back to America and stayed with you, which is a different experience. It's family to family. And I even met her when I was at an old person's concert that you like old people music and heard Goo Goo Dolls and Trains. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your experience.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I hosted, so with the short term, you also host and you're hosted. So I was hosted in Italy and I got to host who would be my host sister here. So when we ran into Vince at the concert, I actually had Benny with me and we took her to that concert. She thought it was really fun. So, but we like old people music. But it was super, super amazing having Benny here. We got to show her like what our life was like. She was here for the 4th of July, which was the most American day of the year, which was super fun for her to be able to experience, for us to show her. And then I went to Italy. I was there for about a month. So a lot different than what the long-term exchange students are used to. But it was super amazing because I lived with, so my host family was 4 siblings, 4 sisters, and I have 3 sisters here. So I was used to like the kind of chaos. And it was just like my family away from home. And it was super, super amazing to get to experience their life there. We traveled around for a little bit. They lived in Milan, but I got to experience, they had like family homes up in the mountains and by the coast. So I got to experience both of those 3 different ways of life while in Italy, and that was super amazing. I wasn't able to become fluent in Italian while I was there, but I wasn't there long enough to become fluent in that. But I did learn the basics, and it was super cool to see how easy it was to pick up on the language after you were there for just a few weeks. Though I couldn't speak it very well, I did understand quite a bit more than I was expecting to. And it was super, super cool to get to see like the way that their family interacted with each other and the way that we interacted with Benny while she was here. But it was a super amazing experience, and it definitely changed like the way that I saw the world in many ways. And it made me become much more independent in everything that I did. And yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I'm super, super happy that I was able to do it. I wish that anybody could be able to have this experience that wants it. And I'm super glad that Rotary was able to let me do this.
So was the best part of your exchange, your actual exchange, or going to the prom with Ethan?
Definitely the exchange.
Oh, okay, I won't ask anymore.
While we had fun in both places. It was, yeah. But I'm super thankful for the community that we've created through Rotary, and I love it.
So obviously you could just see Autumn's excitement about that experience. And I just thought it would be good, since she wasn't able to be on our meeting today, for y'all to be able to see that. So she definitely enjoyed it. And for those members that attended the meeting when she did give her presentation, you could just really tell that she was super grateful to our club and to the district for allowing her that opportunity. So you might be asking yourself, well, how does Rotary Youth Exchange survive during COVID? So Rotary International has actually stated that no exchanges will occur before July 1st of this year. And our district is actually currently accepting the applications for short-term and long-term for the year 2022 and 2023. Right now, the short-term exchanges may be held in person, a combination of in-person and virtual, or just strictly virtual. This is kind of what works best for the students, and I assume the host families, as well as the district and the club. So we've also included a link here of helpful links for those who want more information. This first one here listed is our district page surrounding Youth Exchange, and they also have a Facebook page that is good to like and visit. And then the bottom one there is just for Rotary International that tells a little bit more in depth about those youth exchange programs. So we will open it up to questions.
Yeah, this is Stuart Shaw. I do have a question. It's really a two-part question. First, does a student have a choice of what city they're going to go to? And if it's students only ever seen large cities in the U.S. and then end up in a place like Jonesboro, how do you handle their expectations?
I will address that, yes. The students, when they apply, they fill out a form stating the top 10 countries they would like to go to, and they rank them in order. And we try to match them up with their top choice or one of the top choices. We make an exchange agreement with another district in that country. They have districts just like we do. Until we reach an agreement with another district to exchange students, we don't know which district the student's going to. And the student could go any place within that district, just like when students come here, they can go anywhere in our district. It depends on, where's the host club, are there host families, and that sort of thing. Regarding your question about, say, a student going into a totally different environment, like urban or rural, we don't see that as a problem. They will know ahead of time what city they're going to, so they will be able to get information about that area and what it's like. So they can prepare themselves, but we don't guarantee, an urban or a rural place for a student to go.
Just to piggyback off of that, Susan, isn't that a part of that orientation process? Like we try to prepare the student for that culture shock that they may experience?
By the time for the long-term exchange, by the time they have that orientation camp in the summer, they know where they're going to be going. And that orientation camp is a multi-district camp. So there are, maybe 50 outbound students that are attending. And it's very well-run camp to prepare students for what they're going to be experiencing.
I've got a comment, just real quick, kind of a testimonial. So the guys I work with here at the office, their dad's a Rotarian in Paragould, and they did a Rotary exchange probably maybe in the 80s, 90s. Anyway, it went back and forth so many times, it kind of spun off the wheels of Rotary, and the families became such good friends. This is in Fortaleza, Brazil, by the way, in Paragould, Arkansas, of all places. They became such good friends, they just started exchanging kids. So it all started with Rotary. So one year this kid comes to Paragould, the next year one of the Paragould kids goes to Brazil, and back and forth and back and forth. So one of the girls that came up here from Fortaleza, Brazil, kind of tying into what Stuart was mentioning, culture shock. You go from Fortaleza, Brazil, by the ocean to Paragould, Arkansas, a little bit different scenery. But anyway, she loved it so much. Her and one of my best friends actually ended up getting married, and she's an orthodontist in Little Rock, and he's an attorney. And her family comes to little old Paragould, Arkansas every Christmas from Brazil. So pretty cool story there.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing.
I have a question. I guess when's the last time we had a long-term exchange? I noticed Guy Pattison posted in the comments or in the chat that his family was a host back in the early 2000s. So surely we've had a long-term exchange since that time.
That's a good question. I'm not sure of that. I know that Paragould has actually done several, I think, long terms recently,
Paragould has, although probably not within the last 5 or 6 years. And I think Jonesboro, there was a long-term exchange in Jonesboro, but it must be more than maybe 12 years ago, because I've been involved at the district level in youth exchange for at least 12 years, and I'm not aware of an exchange in Jonesboro during that time. But you have had a couple of short-term exchanges.
Yeah,
And in fact, we have, there is another application for a short-term exchange from a boy in Jonesboro right now. Although he got that through the Jonesboro University Club.
I noticed.
Any questions from maybe the Interact clubs that were able to join?
Was that a question for me?
No, I was just reaching out there to see if they had any, because we do have some Interact clubs on the calls, so.
Hey Guy, where was your Rotary Exchange student from? Where did he come from?
France, and his English was pretty good. He navigated the city quite well. And I think he came as a senior, and it was in the early days of internet. And fortunately, we had internet. It was dial-up, but everybody had dial-up at home, so that helped. And between our family and the other two with whom he stayed, he got to go to Memphis and he got to go to St. Louis, and he was traveled around the country. He may have even gone to New York and LA before he returned to his country, but those would have been through other arrangements. But he attended Nettleton and did quite well. I was glad, honestly, I was glad that it was approved that we were able to use 3 families. Honestly, we wouldn't have volunteered personally. Don't know if we could have wanted to handle a guest on a long-term basis. So the 3 different families worked out well, and it may have been a compromise that Rotary accepted. I don't remember the details back then, but 3 different family experiences for this young man in Jonesboro probably served him a little better as well. I know it did us.
Well, Rotary International prefers that long-term exchange students have 3 host families. Oh. But it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes it's 2 and sometimes it's only 1. But we like to provide at least 2 host families for a student. And that brings to my mind another thing. In the past, it's been very difficult for Rotary to find host families to host a inbound exchange student. In order to address that problem, the district now has a policy where any long-term outbound applicant has to provide the names of 3 families who are willing to host an inbound student. And so that has been, and they, many times they're more apt to know families who would be interested in doing that than Rotarians are. So, but that is an impetus then for them to find those families. So the burden is off of the Rotary Club and the Rotary District in finding families.
Susan and Gary, I'd like to say that Susan has led this program, like she had said, for 12 years in our district. And as you could see by that video, the students, there's not one exchange student that I know of that hasn't come away saying it was a life-changing experience. I mean, every single one say it was so worthwhile, long-term benefit to them, short-term, long-term, whatever. My daughter actually was a short-term exchange student to France years ago, and it impacted her life dramatically. This is such a worthwhile program, and the only thing it really lacks is the awareness within our district that we actually have this wonderful program. We have these scholarships available, and we need to embrace the marketing or the awareness of this wonderful program within our district. And I think Susan and Vince have done a wonderful job, and Lori, I'm just tickled pink that you guys have taken that on for our club. And we need to find some Jonesboro's a dynamic club. We need some kids to go.
Well, I think it's great. The program was really, really good. And I think it's great now that, we'll have it recorded, and I know Cindy Chadwick and the other Interact sponsors can be able to share this with their students. I know we're not able to get them all on Zoom, but at least they could share this program and maybe spark some interest there.
That's great.
I know my daughter probably would have been on me wanting to try to do something like this. She's a senior this year, but anyway, I'm sure there's some kids out there that would be interested in doing this. Now,
Does it have to be a high school student? Like, what if it was like a freshman in college and wanted to go during the summer after their freshman year of college, when they felt more mature to go travel abroad?
As long as they're not more than 19 years old.
Okay.
I think Tanvi has enjoyed some of the programs. I know she's communicated to me after attending our meetings. I actually invited her to this one as well, hoping that maybe she'd be on and be able to add something. But she may be attending the Little Rock meeting today if she's still doing that. So.
I'm not sure. I thought maybe she'd be on this meeting too. But
I think something else good to point out that we really need to take pride in is not all districts get to participate in this program. Like you have to be certified to be able to do this program. So I think that's something that we need to take pride in and really get behind, that it is available to us, because it's not available to all districts. And then it looks like there was a little chat about what does the virtual exchange, what does that look like? I don't know if you could elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yes, I can. These wouldn't be possible without the internet and the Zoom meetings or FaceTime or something like that. But I can tell you what happened in this exchange that's been going on. For Luke, he talked, multiple times with Tanvi on FaceTime or something similar to that. He met her family, and his family met her family, and she met his family. The Indian Rotary District provided a number of opportunities for their, I'll call them inbound students, for lack of a better word, to learn more about Indian culture. I think they had courses in food and probably about the country and maybe religion. I don't know what all they did. Now for Tanvi, what did we do for her? Well, it's amazing. She could attend meetings of both your club and the Little Rock Rotary Club. She was taking classes, or is taking classes, at Wynn High School. She's a student there. So she's all over the district, In addition to that, we've sent her, some examples of American music. We sent her videos about things in Arkansas, like the Crystal Bridges, the Clinton Library. And I just recently provided her with a video from a company called Great Courses. The video is about the national parks in the United States. So there are lots of things that you can provide online, to enrich the experience. Although, I think for Tanvi, she really enjoys attending classes at Wynn High School. The interaction with the other students, I think she really likes that.
That's got to be a challenge for her with the time difference. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, she's she's going to school at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. She's she just is willing to spend all this time and at odd hours, and she's just remarkable. I'm sorry, my cat is My cat wants something to eat, and I don't have a silence button for her.
Lori, there's another message in the chat. Could you email the links again for the students to apply? This came from Terry Tyner.
Sure, yeah, we can definitely get you the links to the district page for sure.
Great job. Appreciate the information. Like I said, it's very good information, and it is something we should be proud of. Surely we'll have some students here in the future. We've got enough. I mean, between the number of schools that we've got in Jonesboro, there's got to be some kids that are interested in doing at least a short-term exchange. So
I'm so glad that Lori and Rachel put this program together for your club. And I look forward to seeing interest from Jonesboro students in Rotary Youth Exchange.
thought for the day. Rotary changes us and those we serve. I believe we can change the world one life at a time. Paul Harris. Very true. Everybody have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week.